Hey, yo, what's going on, friends? Welcome back to the technically, if you want to be super in depth about it, 101 episode of In Madness Pod, but we're calling it in the In Madness mind 40.5. Sean the Butcher here with Vertebrae 33. What's going on?
What's going on, Sean? 101. This is In Madness 101. So if you want to learn anything about this podcast, perfect
This
episode
is
to
a good
dive in.
episode. Yeah.
Start right here and learn all about us. How are you doing?
Swell, I'm fine. I'm glad we have all the shout out to you for making our cool updating our graphic. We went from the white to the gray. I updated all of our socials with that.
Yeah, I
Hell
know.
yeah. We're doing all new things for the In Madness family. Shout outs to you if you listened to our previous episode, any of our previous episodes, the entire year, this year and last year, the compendium of In Madness Pod. I really, even though I didn't really love the movie Hellboy, I did
Mm,
love our coverage of it, and what I couldn't stop smiling at, and still a week later, 2 weeks later, is the fact that it it made me accept cool new things about the movie that I didn't before, and it completely ransacked the once beloved movie for you at the end, at the back end of
yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
so I can't
This
stop laughing at how this podcast ruined something you like and made it something I don't like appreciated a little bit more.
that's awesome. We're gonna meet in the middle. We said it before. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we use our In Madness brain, and Sean and I often share half a brain. So we use 50% of the brain 100% of the time,
Like Lucy.
just like Lucy does. And we have all these great powers. But, uh, looking at these movies under the microscope that we do, you start to look at them a little differently. And sometimes you like them a lot better after diving into them and peeling a whole bunch of layers back. And sometimes you peel the first layer back and you're like, oh crap, there's nothing under that first layer. That first layer was really cool. But then after that,
I
not so
love
much.
our text thread after the movie. I'm like, thank God it's done. And you're like,
Oh,
my
yeah.
daughter just said fellow chucker. And I'm like, she'll never quote Hellboy, god damn it.
Well, she hasn't seen it yet, so maybe she
Yeah.
will. Maybe
Yeah,
she'll be a big
in like
John
10
Myers
years.
fan. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
big John Myers fan. But no, I'm still planning on getting you into Hellboy. I was downstairs in my basement looking at some stack of books that I had, and I was like, oh, there's the older Hellboy books because I have the hardcovers now, and I was like, I still have the soft covers, and I'm like, well, they're going to Sean, or at least one of them is going to
I
Sean, and
appreciate that.
he needs to do homework and then report back to us on a future episode of what he thinks about it. But I really want to have Mike Mignola on, so you got to be super nice about Hellboy.
I won't
Maybe
say anything bad. I will talk about all the cool parts that I dig. I like the tentacles from the sky. We could talk about Rasputin and typo negative. We could talk about Predator and its relation to the Hellhound, if there was
Mhm.
any, things like that. Little stupid things that I pick up on.
But Sean, tell everybody who we are and where we're
Well,
at
this is
before we get
right
cracking.
now. This is the premier podcast in Madness Pod on the socials at In Madness Pod. We're going to dip into the mail sack. Email us right now in madnesspod@gmail.com. No spam, please. You could check us out on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment and give us the 5-star reviews. Check out the In Madness Spotify playlist, which now has The Cult, Firewoman, as
Mhm.
well as about 8 hours worth of more music, probably more than that. Happy In Madness Monday, if that is indeed when you're listening. Spread the madness. Tell everybody you know about this show. You could also get yourself a shirt, inmadness.com, as well as the In Madness mug, inmadness.com. Speaking of which, Vertebrae, if you're watching on YouTube, is rocking the first ever, right now, a one of one in Madness.
Yeah, one of one. Yep, we just dropped our first In Madness mug. I said play along at home, and I'll mix up the mugs. I'm almost thinking maybe the point fives will be the In Madness mug every time, and the movies will be the other or something. I don't know. We'll figure
You
it out.
have
But I'll
so
roll this
many
in
mugs to
periodically.
go through, though.
Yeah, I have quite a lot, and I'm eyeing up more as we speak. If you see me on my phone, I'm not playing Bejeweled. I'm looking at mugs and books and records. That's the book. Definitely books and records
So
too. But
real quick, you said you had some alarming news. I want to hear about
oh,
the alarming news quickly.
so our audience has been climbing, right? And we've been getting new listeners, and everything has been moving along great. And we dropped the part one of the Ninja Turtles episode, and it did really, really well. And part two did like half the audience of part one.
How do
And
you
I'm
not
like,
know the conclusion to Ninja
I don't,
Turtles?
I don't know. It's weird. I will tell you that a lot of times, super, right? We're diving behind the scenes on this, but they're very, very rarely the same exact number. And I'm always confused by that. I kind of get, in some ways, I guess I get part two being more because maybe there's the climax of the film that you want to listen to. Although part one, we tend to load up on more of the like behind the scenes facts and stuff. So depending on the type of person you are, you might want to hear that. It was a longer episode, and we do drop weekly. So despite what it says in iTunes, I have to update it. It still says we're bi-weekly, Sean, and we have been a bi-weekly podcast in a year and a half. But we are weekly. We only ever missed 1 week when we were both deathly ill, and that was it. But we're back. But I don't know. I don't know what happened to those people. I don't know. I was thinking that maybe you just love that movie too much that it scared them off. Maybe they were like, I'm not this passionate. I
They
don't
got
know.
all turtlesed out. It's okay. It's understandable as long as they were there for the first half.
Yeah, maybe that over the time to listen to it, but as the episodes get longer, it obviously takes longer for kind of the listens to go up and stuff. And the reason I even look at any of this stuff is because I just want us to grow this audience in general, and I want to find new ways for people to listen to it and support the podcast and keep it going and grow the In Madness family, as you always say. So it's interesting to see. It's important to look at to see what people are into too, so we can talk more about it because you and I have a lot of the same interests, and sometimes we end up on Turtles and Hellboy on
Well,
opposite
that's
ends.
that's what these point fives are for, and that's why I enjoy these and helping to grow the audience is growing the show even more by adding even more new bits. And occasionally what these point fives or 0.75s or 0.99s will be is the vertebrae 33 in madness mug and book club.
We do like sound effects, like wah
Oh
wah
no,
wah.
no, that's we could have like books like being thrown at somebody or
And
something. I don't know what to.
I
Yeah,
need my
yeah.
own Wilhelm scream of
I
book.
will make you a
Yes.
vertebrae 33 a book club book, but you said you've been reading some books and you wanted to share it with the In
So
Madness
yes.
family.
So the book that I brought up last time I finished, Incidents Around the House by Josh Mallerman. Incredible book. Somebody reached out to me on socials about it and was like, "Hey, what book did you post a picture of?" And it was this book, Incidents Around the House, just this very creepy story written from the viewpoint of like a young girl, and there's other mommy that we mentioned, and it ends really very messed up. So this ending is right out of the Shaun the Butcher playbook.
Cool. I'll have to check
So
this one out.
so that'll mess you up. And I'd love to. Josh Mallerman has been on a lot of podcasts. I'd love to have him on. So I think if you can, we'll give you homework. You read that book, we'll have him on. You might have to shotgun it on Audible in like a day on 4 times speed or something. And then the other book, I got about 100 pages left, maybe 80 pages left of this book called Our Winter Monster. And my love of Arctic horror and snow monsters and all that kind of stuff by Dennis Maloney. And this is a really cool book. I ordered from this place Underbrush Books. I ordered a signed copy, and then Dennis Maloney. Let's see if I could show it on the thing. He
Cool.
he drew like a little snowman at the bottom and stuff with this
You
signed
can see
copy.
all this on YouTube. We will
Yep,
also be posting all of this
we'll
on
post
our
the
socials.
pictures. Our winter monster takes place kind of like in a vacation snow town, and it does some jumping back and forth between personal trauma that happened to the two main characters and what they're dealing with right now, and this monster and this town. And it's really cool. It rolls in horror. It has a little with like kind of like a little bit of procedural and then mystery, and it's been great so far. So, and then the one for the upcoming, because somebody mentioned, oh, what are you going to read coming next? My plan is to read this book. This book has an incredible cover called All the Fiends of Hell by Adam G. Neville. And if you can see that
Sick.
cover, that's just a badass cover. I do judge books by their cover, John. I do it all the time because I'm an
Hell yeah.
artist.
Hell yeah.
I'm sorry that I do that, but this is kind of like a post-apocalyptic world where some monsters are coming out and people are dealing with personal issues. And I'm not going to read the synopsis, but I will talk about this on here after I read it. But this came highly recommended. Also, Incidents Around the House and Horror Movie, the other book that I had read before that we talked about by Paul Tremblay, are both nominated for Bram Stoker Awards for best like full-length horror novel. And the Stoker Awards, I believe, are in June. And I text you about it. So I think that's something we're going to try to attend and see if we can get some content with some people that are there and maybe meet some of these writers. And Sean can watch me run around and buy a whole bunch of books that will take me 10 years to read. It'll be very exciting. But so those are Incidents Around the House. Josh Mallerman, definitely read. Almost finished Our Winter Monster, which just came out, and it's really just a lot of fun. And then next up will be All the Fiends of Hell. So that's it for the book club.
I'm going to make you a sound effect. We have all bits have sound
Mm-hmm.
effects, like the one we're about to do, plus our milking of the alpacas moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I feel like Vertebrae 33's book club needs its own sound effect.
Like a
Or like yeah, like pages going real quick and like a book
yeah,
close. I don't know. I'll figure
and
something out.
maybe like a creepy sound afterwards, right? Because
Yeah.
they're usually going to be mostly horror books. I'm going to blow your mind one time and pick books that aren't horror books for the book club. But
No, I mean, but that's the
um,
point. That's the good
if
shit.
people are into it, then keep the fact that some people have reached out and said, "Oh, what was that book again?" Or I love that you do that, or I'm started reading this because you said it. It's just very cool. Listen, we'll never be a fully booked podcast because Sean and I don't have the time to read that many books, and like we said before, we share 50% of a brain, so it's going to be difficult. But
I could
I
blast
want to
out a
do.
movie 2-3 days easily, but a
Mhm.
book, it's just it's so much.
I think for me, it's in combo. So I'm researching the next film we're doing, and it's not just watching it. It's like, oh, this film has, you know, a history, and there's other stuff that you've got to look up, and then that just takes me down another path after that. So I end up reading things for the podcast. When we think about doing episodes, and when you said, oh, like last time I got to pick what episodes and we had the listeners vote, I had to cross off the list right away, like Psycho, because I want to read Psycho, Silence of the Lambs, because I want to read Silence of the Lambs. I was like immediately like a bunch of stories. Blade Runner, because there's just too much for us to get into right now. Blade Runner 2049, Dune, these things that have so much other weight to them. It was like I was trying to pick stuff that would be like a little bit easier, and quick hitter. And our next film, I thought it might be like that, and it turned out it's going to be a whole mess of research.
I
So,
can't wait for our next goddamn movie. We're not there yet though. We're not there
mhm.
yet. So you're good. You got your book club. So I'm currently reading a book as well right now, but I don't know how I feel about it, and I don't want to name drop it yet until I
Oh,
finish it,
okay.
until I have my final review of it. But I definitely want to look up the ones that you have mentioned because they sound awesome, and judging the books by their cover, they also look awesome.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I noticed if you're watching on YouTube, Sean's wearing a Mischief Toy shirt that I did for Comic Con this year with Mortem on it, their character Mortem. And Mischief Toys was just at Toy Fair, which just happened in New York, and a lot of really cool things have come out of that. There were Turtles toys, and I sent you a few things. So that's something. One year we should try to get ourselves to Toy Fair and see if we can't. But look around and see what toys are coming out and stuff. But yeah, that's very cool. I was like, oh look, he's got the Mischief Toy shirt on. So watch on YouTube as well, so you could see it. But yeah, it's going to be a good time with Mischief Toys this year too. We're going to do some stuff with them at New York Comic Con as well, and shout out to them for being able to go to Toy Fair and see all this really cool things. And they've been posting some content as well on their socials. And I saw a post somebody had from Toy Fair. It wasn't them, and I thought of you right away. It was a little Jurassic Park egg,
Oh,
and
I
the
saw the
little
wrap.
dinosaur, so it's like pecking his way out of it or
Beautiful.
whatever. I
Beautiful.
was like, Sean needs that.
That is adorable. 100%. Everybody sends me the Godzilla, the one that I unboxed on our Instagram live, but, like,
Oh yeah.
the TikTok thing now is it blowing on, like, the house plants,
Oh
the
nice.
fire, and they're like, "You gotta
Hmm.
do this," and I'm like, "Well, I already have the toy, but I don't have the plants, so, I'm fine with just the toy." With that, shall we dip into the mail sack?
Mail sack.
Yes,
We
I'm
got a couple
excited.
here, out of the thousands, I've picked a few. One mentions a past episode, and another 2 of them seem like they're connected, but I haven't opened them completely and done all of my
Okay.
research. I like doing these blind as we dip into the In Madness mail sack from Jason Blankenship, who says, "Turtle power. Are you ready?" Oh, it's a short one.
Mm.
Jason knows the deal. Clear and concise, Jason.
I
He
would
says,
love it if it just said turtle power.
well,
That was
that's
the
the
whole
title
email.
of it, which is cool. He says, "When I was close to 10, I lived in Columbia, South Carolina. My older brother had this friend who claimed to be an extra in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He had a black sash looking thing that looked like it could have been a hood. I thought he was full of it and just trying to get me excited as I was all in when it came to the Ninja Turtles. Now learning from Vertebrae that part of the film was filmed in Wilmington, North Carolina." I realized that my brother's friend may have had a shred of truth to his claim, and he puts shred in quotes.
Nice.
Even if it was never true, I just wanted to share it with the pod. I had 3 brothers when that movie came out, and each of us had our own poster for the movie that featured a key turtle. My poster was Michelangelo. That's what I'm talking about. Vertebrae, what color his bandana was Michelangelo?
I have no idea. There's 4 turtles, right? There's Jimmy,
Guess,
Tony,
guess what
Dee, and
color
Donnie.
Michelangelo was. Is that the New Kids on the Block?
I think I just named the New Kids on the Block. Uh, Purple. No, red.
No,
No, green.
no,
Oh,
no.
green would be weird.
How did
Yeah.
you fail all of those? No,
Yellow
Michelangelo was
is
orange.
yellow.
No, there is no yellow one. For the
There's no
love of God,
yellow
I can't
turtle?
believe all that research we did, and you still don't know which turtle is which. My
Wait,
heart is
Michelangelo
broken.
is the
He's the party dude.
he's the wise talking green guy.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. Yeah, if that works.
Wait, oh, he's orange.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is he?
Yo, man, our buddy Dave Ferreira is gonna give you a whooping.
Wait, what are the other ones, Sean? Do you know them by heart?
Man, yes, I know them all by
The
heart.
colors. The colors.
Yes, Leonardo is
Okay.
blue,
Blue.
Raphael is red,
Uh-huh.
Donatello is purple,
Uh-huh.
and Michelangelo is orange.
That's awesome.
And
They never introduced another turtle?
I think they had a girl turtle in like the new adaptation,
Okay.
but they also had like the billion chameleon toys. So like they had like the friggin' robot turtle, Metalhead, I think his name was. He used to have that toy. Fuck.
Mm,
I miss all my turtle toys. Okay, we got one more email and what looks like to be another continuation of that email from Thomas Cops 2. Never gonna be spam and a little voice note, he says. Okay, let's see.
oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay. This is a little bit long. Ready?
Yes.
What up, Butcher and Vertebrae? First and foremost, congrats on the 2 years. This has been a fun ride and looking forward to a fun 2025. Also, I meant to send this for the holiday episode, but I did not have it in time. Okay, no problem. Thank you for writing now. Speaking of the holiday episode, I loved the fact that the Crow and Fisherman episodes were so highly regarded. They were by far 2 of my favorites. Oh, this is old school when we were asking people their favorite episodes of the previous year. Very
Mhm.
cool. Uh, they were 2 of my favorites. I have spoken on how much The Crow means to me previously. Also, not only did I buy The Fisherman because of that interview, it is
Nice.
currently in the top to be read milk crate. Hope to have it read this summer. Oh, he bought it, but he has not read it yet. Okay, cool.
Perfect. The man, that's how you roll, man. Just buy the book. Worry about it later.
In regards to my last email, James Tylon is the author of such a great comic book as The Department of Truth, Something is Killing the Children and Deviant. Basically,
Mhm.
Scott Snyder, mentor or mentee, and has some sweet Batman runs.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I wanted to read Something is Killing the Children. I have it, and I think I have Department of Truth. I have some graphic novels here, but John, I end up like waiting for the big collected version because it's just a nicer book. So sometimes I'll if it's out and they haven't released that yet, I'll just wait.
He says, I loved all three Nightmare on Elm Street episodes, and from now I won't be able to see the end of the first one without hearing the butcher's explanation. I don't remember what my explanation was. In the
Oh, the
episode,
first one through the door when they went into
oh,
the
well, he says in the episode you asked if anyone can control their dreams. Dreaming is something I am very intrigued by, but that is a whole nother email in itself. However, I can kind of control my dreams. However, whenever I do start to control the dreams, they shortly end, but working to control on that as well. However, I can lucid dream, which means I can dream, wake up, go back to sleep, and go back to the same dream. I have done that before. Like you're
Mhm.
like you're having the coolest dream and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I woke up, and you get back to sleep as quick as you can and you could pick up where it left off. That's amazing. Dreams are so weird, dude. He says, I'm a huge fan of the snooze button, so it's a great dream. I just keep hitting the snooze. Great. Awesome.
Mm,
You guys mentioned that the Thing video game is on Switch. I bought the wife and I a Switch a while back, but I am still playing Tetris, Ninja Gaiden, and trying to beat Super Mario Brothers 3.
mm,
Classic. How the Thing video game has me, this Thing video game has me intrigued. I may have to give it a shot. I think it's amazing. I told my buddy to download it. He played it for like 15 minutes and stopped playing it. But I'm like, you're crazy. It's like 007 GoldenEye with the Thing.
mm,
Speaking of games, I would love to sit down and play some Monopoly for cash. That's a vertebrae game. I have always wanted
mm.
to do that, but want to pay off the car first. Yeah, there's no way in hell I'm doing a Monopoly for cash. I might as well lose all my money in Atlantic City. Got more to say, but don't want to make this too much of a novel. But me and my crew are thinking of heading to New York Comic Con in 2026. If we do, we will stop by for some high fives. 2026 or 2025?
I
Hope.
hope he means 25 because
Yeah, yeah.
we're not locked and loaded yet for 26,
Sh-
but
Shut
hopefully he meant 25.
Shout out to the black and white TV in your bedroom generation, and to echo Butcherman's sentiments. Hell, fuck yeah, to your local library. Support your local library. Wonder if I can rent the Thing video game at my library. Can't hurt to check. As always, I can't thank you guys for all the content and effort you guys put into the podcast. Hoping you guys start a Patreon soon. Thomas Cops, high five, Tom.
Awesome. Thank you. You know, the Thing video game, you mentioned it. Um, it's actually they have a version of it coming out now with like the box. So there's like a special collector's version. I don't know if you saw they've been promoting that lately. And it's just funny because I hadn't heard about it for a little while till you and I thought about I thought about downloading it, you downloaded it and played it. By the way, Sean, just as an update, Alien Isolation, I'm I must have played a good like 9 minutes, 9 to 18 minutes of that game. So that's why I never buy video games. I think my ship just landed. That's how early on that game was. I think that's like right in the beginning. It's like the second scene or something. So, but the other thing you mentioned was the library. Didn't you get Hellboy from the library?
That is
Or
how I was able to review Hellboy because, of course, we decided to do the movie, and Hellboy 2 was available on all streaming services. Hellboy 2019 was available on all streaming services, but
Mhm.
Hellboy, nowhere to be found. Went to the
Mm.
library, it was there. Yeah, library saves my ass for this podcast multiple times. Shout out to the local library.
Maybe we'll shotgun the remaining Hellboy movies. We'll do the second Guillermo movie, second GDT movie, and then do the 2019 one with the Stranger Things guy, and then we do the Crooked Man, the new one. but we'll have to wait until we can get that. But maybe we try to brave that again after Nightmare on Elm Street and do three. Now, why am I saying this? I don't know why I'm saying this, but we could try it,
He's
Sean.
letting his intrusive thoughts win.
Yeah, that's just this. I'm talking myself in and out of this idea. It might make for a great listen. Just
Hopefully,
listening
by
to us
the end of
suffer.
this episode, I can talk him out of it. We'll see what happens. Start laying down your bets now. We have a continuation email from Thomas Cops who says, follow up email, and as always, sure as hell not spam. This one is also a little longer. Okay, it doesn't seem like to be a voice note. It said voice note in this other one, but you have not sent a voice note. But it's all right. We got another short email here. Are you ready? This is our
Mhm.
final email in Madness Pod 40.5 before we tease our next movie. Get excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to watch it again. He says, hey guys, I'm an a-hole for the delay on my last email, so I'm going to send this one now as I'm thinking about it. Thank you, Thomas, for being so dedicated.
Mhm.
First and foremost, I love the dynamic between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Hellboy, very current, and how Butcher was so passionate about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Vertebrae about Hellboy. Made for fun listening, and we'll revisit Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one of these days and check Hellboy for the first time in the future. Good luck with that. And all BS aside, if you
Oh.
guys set up a Patreon for stuff like deep dives into parallels of the Lovecraft universe and movies, something I even know less about than Hellboy, I would totally subscribe. And honestly, I don't think I would be the only one. Also, the mention of Rasputin in the Hellboy episode, I thought it'd be fun if you added the Boney M song Rasputin. Song is a banger. If you haven't heard it, here's a YouTube link. He attaches a YouTube link. I will check it out. All the judges, it must be brought to the In Madness Council. All songs
Mhm.
being added to the In Madness playlist must be decided upon by the council or to be thrown in the In Madness psychiatric penitentiary to never be heard from again with Charlie, the spoiler alert kid. Next, I usually listen to the episodes on my iPod from my lunch walks, but decided to watch on YouTube for the two Hellboy episodes. Thank you. I have to admit, I didn't think I could enjoy this podcast anymore. Look at that. If that doesn't put the
Wow.
YouTube over, it's fun
That's
watching
awesome.
you guys do your thing, and the backgrounds are always fun. If any of the In Madness family have the ability to enjoy this podcast on YouTube, you should do it. It sounds like I wrote this email. Great job, Thomas Cops. He
Yeah, we're gonna
finishes.
find out someday if that Sean is actually
Actually, this
Thomas
guy,
Cobbs
yeah,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
Lastly, you mentioned a review of Psycho,
Mhm.
and let me throw that out into the universe. I hope that happens sooner rather than later, as it has a special place in my heart. It is my now wife and I's first date. It
Mhm.
was my now wife and I's first date. Might explain why it took us 7 years to tie the knot. Somehow, watching the first time in 2010, I avoided spoilers for 50 years. Saw it on the
Wow.
big screen last year, and it was awesome. As always, appreciate all you do. Keep up the kick ass content. High five, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, anyone who sends us emails to the mail sack at inmadnesspod at gmail.com if you want your email read on air. Anything you want to ask. In previous point fives, we
Mhm.
had I think our buddy Tom Henderson sent us like a 10 questionnaire answer form that he wanted us to answer, which I thought was a lot of fun. It was cool. Anything you want to know about myself, Vertebrae, or the In Madness movies we have covered so far, and the future of the movies that we are about to cover. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to our next episode, definitely.
That's awesome, and he brought up something, Sean, and I'm just gonna broach this with you right now as we record. But he brought up the Patreon thing, and we have talked about doing Patreon, and we mentioned it before on the podcast about setting it up in a way that we'd be offering extra content to people. Yeah, maybe there's people who just want to support in general, which is fine, but I also want to have some tiers where we're doing extra stuff with the listeners. And one of the things that I really want to do, and so we're on the clock to get this started, is I really want to have a weekly discussion on the Alien TV series when it drops, when
Oh,
Alien Earth comes out.
okay, okay.
Yeah, I think that could be a lot of fun for initial reactions to it, it's not gonna be being able to dig into all the behind the scenes or any of that. It would just be our discussion about the episode and our
Mhm.
thoughts of the way the series is going, and then maybe that culminates with, a larger discussion about the series. What's fascinating about that is it's got all the chances in the world to go completely off the rails, which would be really interesting, and we would have pre-committed already to viewing the entire series and discussing it. But I think that would be, and hopefully we do get the Patreon started before then, but I definitely think that's something that we want to include in that when we do it, because I think that would be neat. I think that's August, I believe it comes out.
We
And I
got
don't know if it's a
6 months to
weekly
figure
thing.
it out, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a weekly thing or they're dropping them all at once. If even if they dropped them all at once, I think we would just do them weekly and offer that as a weekly. They'd be much quicker hitters than the movies we do. But
Mhm.
um, yeah, Sean, right now, if you're on YouTube, is looking at me like, "Are you crazy?" Because
We'll figure it out. We
we're
will do
struggling to get
anything.
movies.
We will do anything to help grow this podcast, the
Mhm,
It Madness family. These episodes are fun as hell. These point fives are fun as hell. But most importantly, when I get to cover movies that I really am super passionate about, it makes it the most fun ever. And when you listening are as passionate about the movie and dig the episode, because I never know if we fully deliver to the 100th of the percentile that
mm.
I don't know, like because it's impossible to have every last drop of information. And it's great when people listen and are like, I didn't know half the stuff you guys were talking about was in this movie. And like, it's cool that like stuff that is might be common knowledge for you and I, it might not be for so many other people watching the movie, or to just discover new things about the movie in new ways. Like when you told me there was Guns and Roses in Terminator 2, just cool, like in my like actual gun with the roses, not
Mhm.
the band. Just stupid, cool, fun stuff like that. Yeah, I love discovering new things about old movies with this
Yeah,
podcast.
it's cool, and I love people taking the ride with us. We appreciate you listening. If you just happen to be tuning in for the first time, go back, go through the back catalog. We're over 2 years into this. We started with our first film was Krampus on Christmas Day. It dropped, and we did The Exorcist the following Christmas. So we have a lot to live up to for this Christmas. But we're excited that anybody would take this ride with us. It's been over 2 years and I haven't had somebody email us and tell me my fact was wrong. So either nobody's double checking it or they're going along with whatever I said, which is fantastic either way. But no, I'd love to know. And if I missed anything, some of this stuff is endless. And after we talk about the movie, it's still in my brain, and then I'll see something else about it. And I'm like, I didn't mention this, or I said that wrong, or I meant to say this. And so we're not perfect. I'm not perfect at it, but I appreciate anyone taking the ride, especially when we head into this next film.
Shall we? Shall we get there? It's been a successful point five. I think it's been a
I
great
think so.
one.
You have anything else to tell
No,
me?
we got book club, we got emails, and now we get to tease our next episode. I'm very excited about this movie. We won't give it away. This is how we like to this
Mhm.
since it's not up to a vote, and since we can't tell you ahead of time, we're gonna give you the worst teasers of all time. This is a new movie. It like came out 4 months ago.
Is it 4 months ago?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. Less
I'm
than
gonna look.
4 months ago,
I'm gonna
actually.
look it up while you tease. It's less than 4 months ago.
It's less
Yeah.
than 4 months ago. This movie came out on a holiday less than 4 months ago.
Oh God. Sean is but the hints are just I mean, that's the best part about these hints, right? We're just gonna end
Yes.
up giving the film completely away, but
Yes, and you could catch up with this movie before we talk about it on Peacock, or I'm sure you could stream it somewhere for, like, $5. But I can't wait. It was one of my favorite movies of last year. Besides The Substance, which I also recently just saw and was one of the gnarliest horror movies I've seen in like the last decade.
hmm,
But I don't know. It was just after seeing so many movies last year and kind of being disappointed, I had high hopes, and the movie we're about to cover delivered. And it was great to see so many people on the socials agreeing with that fact. Perhaps Vertebrae will disagree. I've told him not to tell me anything about what he thinks, and we will find out all about it on next week's episode.
That's awesome. Can I give a hint, Sean? Are we done? Can I
Go
give a
ahead.
hint?
Go
Are we
ahead.
still on the air? I'm gonna give this hint, right? Across upon her bedroom wall, from grace she will fall.
We will add that typo negative song to the In Madness playlist. And with that, we'll see you next week.